Okay, Shalom Aleichem everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful week. Today is Wednesday when I'm recording. Tonight, Lag BaOmer, and we shift towards the latter part of the Sfiras HaOmer, and I figured again, since we're still 1 week off in terms of the Kriyas HaTorah in Eretz Yisrael versus the Kriyas HaTorah in Chutz La'aretz, I'll speak about a Davar HaShavel Chol Nefesh that's relevant to everyone this time of year, and that is, of course, the mitzvah of Sfiras HaOmer. So, and that is indeed in Parshat Behar, which again will be read this week in Chutz La'aretz. When it comes to Sfiras HaOmer, there's a very well-known machlokes, a famous machlokes between the Baal Halacha Nachas and Daf Samech Vav. And there, the issue is, what is the halacha if you miss an entire day of counting? You didn't count at night, you didn't count during the day. Are you allowed to keep on counting? So the Balei HaTosas assume that you're allowed to. And this is really Tosas L'Shitase, because Tosas assumes that the word Tmimos, Sheva Shabosos Tamimos, is going on every individual day. Every individual day has to be a complete counting. So Tosas encourages us to count the Sfiras HaOmer as early as possible in the night, so that you capture the entirety of the day. Tamimos is on the entirety of the day. Count early. Even Tosas writes you can count after Shkia, before it's really nightfall, in order to capture the entirety of the day. But that also means that if you miss a night, not such a problem. You'll count the next night with a bracha. It doesn't matter that you missed a day or not. You can keep on counting. That's the position of the Balei HaTosas. The Bahag is the well-known provocateur of Tosas, and he takes issue with that. And he says, no, if you miss a night of counting, that's it. You're done. You can no longer count. And the simple explanation, the classic explanation, you can find this explanation in many Sfarim, is that according to the Balachas Gedolos, Tmimos is not every single day, but it's on the entire unit. You have to have a perfected counting altogether. If you miss a day, you miss a night, so your counting is imperfect. It's not Tamim. And as a result, you can no longer count. That's the position of the Bahag. Tmimos is going on the unit of 49, as opposed to on every single night, every single day. And to take it one step further, the classic explanation is, according to Tosas, Sfiras HaOmer is 49 separate mitzvos. According to Bahag, it's one long mitzvah. Therefore, according to Tosas, you miss a night, okay, you'll count the next night because it's a separate and distinct mitzvah. According to the Balachos Gedolos, it's one long mitzvah. If you missed a night, you can no longer count. That's the classic explanation. However, there's some difficulties with that explanation. First and foremost is, if indeed it's 49 separate mitzvahs according to Tosfos, should we be making a separate bracha every single night? One more time. According to Balachos Gedolos, if it's one mitzvah, one long mitzvah, should we be making a separate bracha every single night? It's a little strange. Every single night is a bracha when it's one long mitzvah. That's a difficulty. Another interesting point is, who is the one that tells? We know that it says in Shulchan Aruch, if you didn't count at night, count during the day without a bracha. Who's the proponent of that idea? So Soloveitchik pointed us to a Tosas in Megillah, and Tosas Megillah Daf Chav says, he knows the proponent of that idea, the very Baal Halachos Gedolos. Count during the day without a bracha. That's weird. It's unusual. If it's a mitzvah even to count during the daytime, so count with a bracha. If it's a mitzvah only to count at night and not during the day, it's a nighttime mitzvah, then why count during the day at all? Why is the Baal Halachos Gedolos telling us to count during the day without a bracha? Strange. Soloveitchik developed a very important and beautiful idea. There are a lot of ramifications, but I wanted to get to a message as well. Rav Soloveitchik argued as follows: the Balachas Gedolos does not fundamentally disagree with Tosfos. He says every single night is a separate night of counting. Every night is separate. You have to count every night, and every night is a separate and distinct mitzvah. That's why we make a bracha every single night, because it's 49 mitzvahs. Well, if it's 49 mitzvahs, so then how come if you missed a night, you can no longer continue counting? Okay, good, I missed night 24, why can't I count night 25 if it's a separate mitzvah? So to that, Rav Soloveitchik argued that the Balachos Gedolos argues, and his position is, it's 49 separate mitzvahs, every night gets its own mitzvah, its own bracha, but it has to be a count. It has to be a sequential count. To go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, that's not called counting. So every single night is a separate mitzvah, but it needs sequence. If you don't have sequence, then that's not called counting. That's really what Tamimos tells you. It needs sequential counting. So if you miss a night, you can no longer count because, every single night is a separate mitzvah, but you lack your sequential counting. Why does the Bahag say count during the day without a bracha? True, the mitzvah is only at night. The mitzvah is to count at night. But by counting during the day without a bracha, you're not fulfilling the mitzvah of Sfiras Omer. What you are doing is you're maintaining your sequence. It allows you now to continue counting the next night because you captured that day in a count. You have your sequence. It's an interesting question that's posed by the Nod of Yehuda, brought down by the Mishnah Brura. A person who's an Oneh, let's say, Rahman al-Tzlan, his relative died on a Monday, and the Kavur is only going to be Wednesday morning. So Monday night, he's not going to count. He's an Oneh, he's not Chayv in mitzvos, he's Asur in mitzvos. Tuesday day, can't count, he's still an Oneh. Wednesday day, or Wednesday night, he'll count again, but he missed an entire day of counting, so what's he supposed to do? So the Nod B'Yehuda says he should count on that Tuesday without a bracha. Why? He's not Chayv in mitzvos, he's Asur in mitzvos. The answer is, he's not fulfilling mitzvahs Sfiras Omer in that count. What's he doing? He's maintaining sequence. That's the position of the Bahag as understood by Rav Soloveitchik. And I think there's a very, very important message in that position. And that is these days that we find ourselves in. Days bridging Yetzias Mitzrayim to Kabbalas HaTorah. These days are not just days where we perfunctorily count. Another day, another day, another day. These days are days of avoda, days of building ourselves, days of getting ourselves ready for the ultimate day of Matan Torah. And there's steps, there's a process. There is the idea of not counting days, but making days count. And that requires a real avoda. The Baalei Musar point out that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos tells us that the Torah is niknes, they're midos, through which Torah is niknes, arboim v'shmone midos, Torah niknes bahem. There are 48 midos. And the Baalei Musar point out that there is a correlation. Every day of Sfiras Omer should be a day of working on those midos. Interesting, by the way. Today is Lamed Beis Ba'omer. You know what today's midah is? Today's midah is Oe Vesabrios. Is to go ahead and love our fellow man. Because the Talmid in Rabbi Akiva, which ceased to die, the plague ended on Lag Ba'omer. So their failure was Shalom Kovat Zevazeh. So to go ahead and go into Lag BaOmer properly, the midah to work on is Oe Vesabrios, every single day. Another midah, another midah, another midah, so that come Chag HaShavuos, we can go ahead and truly have a proper Kabbalas HaTorah, Arboim V'Shmone Drochim, ShaTorah Niknes Bahem. Oh, but there's only one problem. There's 49 days of Sfiras Omer, and there's only 48 midos. It would be nice if it lined up perfectly. Alas, it doesn't line up perfectly. So in theory, it's a good vort, but we're missing something. It looks a little bit artificial. So the Baalei Musar say various things, various ideas. One idea is the last day, the day before Shavuos, Erev Shavuos, is the Yom HaChazara. It's a day reviewing all the midos, finishing touches, as we like to say, the makabeh. That the last day is a Yom HaTfilah. It's a day of Tefillah. That the avoda of the past 48 should come through. And he gives a mashal. Imagine a person is climbing a ladder. Every day counts. The Bahag says you can't skip steps. You can't count 1, 2, 3, 5. You can't normally get from 45 to 47. Every day counts. That's the message of the Bahag. Counting means making every single day count. And now you're at day 48. You're climbing a ladder that has the top rung, the destination is 50 steps away. And you start climbing that ladder step by step by step. And then you hit rung number 48, one rung left. Problem is, that rung is missing. There's no rung 49. It's not there. And somehow you have to get to level 50. without rung 49. How in the world can you do that? How do you go ahead and quantum leap, skip a step? So Rav Asher says the way to get, if you will, quantum leaps, the way to somehow overcome the impossible is through tefillah. And that's the message of this 49th step, is the day of tefillah allows you that when you have siyata d'shmaya, it allows you to overcome obstacles, do things that you did not realize you could do. It powers you, it charges you with kochos that you never realized you have. And maybe you didn't have them, but through the power of tefillah, Hashem allows you, gives you that ability that even though b'derech hateva, to get from level 48 to level 50 is impossible. But the koach hatefillah allows you to kind of jump over, maximize, reach, and somehow your arm gets extended. Allows you to do more than you otherwise could. And perhaps that's the message of, yes, 48 drachim, but somehow we have to get to level 50. And the way to get to level 50 is through the charge and the energy that tefillah provides. And one has that sense of tefillah, one has the ability to achieve even more than you could. That's what siyata d'shmaya gives you. So the message of these days of Sfira is not just to go through the motions of Hayom blank blank ba'omer, but it's to go ahead and think about these drachim, think about our midos, think about the failings, if you will, of Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. Think about how Rabbi Akiva started fresh once again, how he had that koach, that energy, and what allowed him to do it. It was that vision, that siyata d'shmaya that allows us to do even more than we think we're capable of. And Be'ez Hashem, we take these messages to heart, and indeed, we be zocheh to really have a Kabbalas HaTorah that's going to bring the Torah from our peripheries to our essence, to our hearts, and we'll be zocheh to have an amazing, amazing yontif, an amazing, amazing sense of Kabbalas HaTorah.